So I've made a lot of custom weapons in Minecraft, for example my Harry Potter wand, or my Axe of Terror, or the Darkness Blade, or a Fire Wand, or a Lightning Rod, or even a full-on Iron Man suit. And in this video, I'll be making a sword themed after the Deep Dark, so let's go! So I've got this Echo Sword texture, and of course it's in a texture pack, and it only shows that texture when it's got custom model data, and it's actually just a netherite sword, as you can see there. And as some of you may have noticed, I've actually got a custom texture pack on that makes all tools have custom textures, and the Echo Sword's texture is made in the same vanilla style. Now you may be saying to yourself, Self, how are you supposed to get this awesome looking sword? Well, you're going to drop one netherite sword and 2 echo shards on top of a skulk sensor, not a skull sensor, what's it called? Skull catalyst, and then you're basically just going to coat the netherite sword with the echo shard, kind of making it into an echo sword, which, you know, totally original idea by me, obviously. So I'll just start off by copying this command block, 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 and this command block for my blink dagger creation. And then I'll just paste them in, totally not spend 30 minutes converting them. And now if I drop 2 echo shards onto the sculpt block, and then 1 netherite sword, then I get the echo sword. And also the text is in light blue because I thought that was cool. And also if you now go and damage the netherite sword, then now it's got 2014 durability. So now if I just throw it onto the sculpt block, and then I turn it into a sword, then it's still got the 2014 durability. And I did that by, instead of using /summon, I used /data. So therefore, I basically just made the netherite sword have all of the data of the skulk sword, and yeah, now it works pretty well. And when I say that it works pretty well, I mean that yeah, it works, but it doesn't really look that good. So you know what that means? It means that I'm going to do all of the particles and sound effects now. Alright, so now all of the sound effects and particles are finally in, and this chain is a lot longer now, but this is then now how it looks and sounds. So I'm using just a basic sonic boom particle at the sword, and all of the particles and sound effects are centered around the sword. And then I'm also using the dust particle at 0 red, and then 0.15 blue, no, 15 green, and then 0.2 blue, and 1.5 size. So it's very, very dark blue, or dark cyan more like, and then also, of course, at the sword, and then in a 0.75 block radius, and then speed of 1, since like the dust particle isn't affected by speed anyways, and then count of 200, so it's very visible, and I feel like it kind of gives that sort of like skulk vibe. And then to finish off the particles, I'm using the skulk charge pop, of course also at the sword, in a 0.15 block radius, and then speed of 0.01, and then count of 10,000, so like it would be very noticeable. It's just, there's so many other particles kind of obstructing the view, and it also kind of blends in here with the sonic boom, but when you know that it's there, you know that it's there, kinda. And yeah, I feel like it looks okay. And then the sound effects are the Entity Alley Death in a 0.25 volume and then 0.1 pitch. Now, I've used this sound effect in so many of my creations, and I just love the sound. It's just the right amount of creepy, but also kind of like spooky and magical, kinda. And I really like it, but it's very low volume, because I also wanted to have a lot of volume on, like, all of the Skulk and Warden sound effects. And speaking of those Warden sound effects, the next one is Warden Nearby Closest. Now, I have used something similar to this in my horror game contraption, but that time I used the Closer sound effect, and of course there's a Resonance Master, and then volume 1.75. Now, it may seem very high, but it's not actually that noticeable, and then just normal pitch. Now, I said that it wasn't that noticeable, and it is, but sometimes there's a chance that there will come like a kind of faded out loud echoing skulk sensor clicking sound after the sound effect. And then there's also the Warden Sonic Boom sound effect as 1 volume and then 0.75 pitch. Now, like, it would make sense that it would work since I've also got like the not the sonic boom particle here, but I didn't think that it would work as well as it actually does. Like, it just really fits and I really like it. And that's actually all of the sound effects and particles. Now, there is still one thing that I want to show you, and that is that if I can just throw correctly, if I just spawn in a sword, just like this, and then I try to make another echo sword with my already echo swords, and this is technically a netherite sword, then I can't actually do it. If I just do this, then it stacks, but nothing actually happens. So, yeah, that's just like a small bug fix that I really felt like I should have done a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So now you can finally actually get the sword, but right now it's just a retextured netherite sword, and that's nothing special. So what I'll do now is that I'll make this sword a melee weapon into a ranged weapon. So yeah, let's do that now. So what I'll do is that when you drop the sword, then you don't actually drop it, but instead you shoot out like a mini sonic beam, kind of like the Warden, and then it'll also have like a little cooldown on it so that you can't just rapid fire it. And for that, I've just headed over here to my Harry Potter 1 creation, and I'm just going to copy that one, that one, that one, that one, this 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 one, and this one. So just a couple of commands, and then I'll just paste them all in, and then I'll add the scoreboard Echo Sword SC, that's going to be a dummy, and then I'll just have to convert all of these commands. Yay, I love my life. Alright, so now 7.5 hours later, and now everything is finally converted. So now if I just drop this item, then it actually just summons in as Sonic Boom. Now, yes, it does look kind of bad. I just took in, like, just any particle effect. So now it's just like the standard Sonic Boom particle effect. But now, it's, as you saw there, it disappeared. And then it came like a little pling sound effect when the cooldown is off. Now, of course, the particles are far from finished, and I haven't even started on the sound effects. So I guess I'm going to do that now. So yeah, see you guys in another 7.5 hours then.
1 eternity later.
Alright, so now the particles and sound effects are finally in, and I'd say that it sounds and looks pretty good. So when you first launch the attack, there comes the Sonic Boom particle and sound effect. Now the particle is just like the completely basic particle. It's like nothing special with it, it's just a Sonic Boom particle, 1 block in front of you. And then the sound effect is at, of course, at the player. And then 1 volume and then 0.75 pitch. So it's like a little bit lower pitch, but you can't really tell, and I think it sounds really good. And then the particle for the actual projectile is the dust particle. This one is pretty light turquoise, so it blends in with the other particles, and then 2 size, and then in a 0.1 block radius, so that it's a little bit out, and then 1 speed, because again the dust particle isn't affected by speed, and then also 7 count, so it's pretty noticeable, and I feel like it looks pretty good. And then it's also the Skulk Charge Pop in a 0.2 block radius, and then 0 speed, because this one is actually affected by speed, and then count of 15, so this one is mostly just in the front of the projectile, and I think it really just adds to like kind of the feel, because I gave up on it trying to look like a Sonic Boom, kind of when I thought that then I would have to actually make the projectile travel at the speed of sound. So yeah, I gave up on that pretty quickly. So now I'm going with still the same color palette as the Warden's attack, but more, I feel like it's more living, like I feel like it's more sentient than just the sound waves. I don't know, it just feels more living, and also the sound effects. And speaking of those sound effects, it's the Warden Tendril Clicks at 0.1 volume and then 0.5 pitch. It sounds like the projectile is sort of sentient, but also, of course, that is a popping sound effect. And yeah, I feel like that sound effect really pops. No, wait, please don't click off the video. But that's actually all of the particles and sound effects for the Sonic Boom attack. But right now, I still actually need to make it deal damage, because I don't actually know how to do that. Like, I would like to use the /damage command, but that's in 1.20, and I'm playing in 1.19.3, and like, I would so just love to be able to use the /damage command and the /ride command in so many of my creations, but I can't, because like Optifine isn't released there and stuff, so yeah, I don't really know how I'm going to do the damage. Previously, I've kind of just changed between using /kill and the wither effect, but none of those will really suit the attack. I think I'm going to use the wither effect, so I'll just do execute and then at the armor stand. And then I'll do run effect give, and then at E, and then I'll just do MBT and then all of this stuff, which I totally wrote myself, by the way. And then in a distance of, say, 2 blocks, or maybe 2.5 blocks, I guess. Then I'll just give all of those people the wither effect for 1 second, amplifier of like 15, and then true. Now, the reason that it's 15 is because when it's below a certain level, and I don't actually remember what that level is, but when it's below that, then it doesn't actually work. It just doesn't deal damage, and I don't really know why, but I'm hoping that 15 is going to be enough. So now if I just test the attack out on these people, then yeah, that actually deals damage, although yeah, they don't seem to actually take that much damage, and I don't really like that. So I guess to fix the duration of the attack, I can just make the duration be 5 seconds. Like, yeah, it's not that it's actually getting hit by the attack, but like, I guess it's fine. Like, kind of that your ears are ringing, although I already said that it's not going to be a sonic attack. I don't really know, but at least now it's going to deal some damage, and again, that guy isn't going to die, but at least now they're going to take a lot of damage, and that's really good. And now I'd actually say that the Sonic Blast ability is finally finished. Now, I would like to add in a third ability. It's just that I also want this sword to feel kind of vanilla-ish. So, like, I feel like one ability is already enough, you know? Like, if it's going to be a sword better than netherite, then I feel like just buffing, like, the power stats and stuff isn't going to be that much of a difference, you know? There's already, like, so many tools that just do that. So, like, one ability, that's cool. 2 abilities, that's going into the field of feeling a little bit modded, I guess. So yeah, I feel like just one ability is fine, and I really like this ability, which is totally not a cover-up for me not wanting to make a second ability, because I've already spent 4.5 hours on this thing, totally not. But yeah, I guess that's then going to be everything for this video. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, then just leave a like to let me know. But yeah, this will be everything for this video, so bye!